Imagine a world where you never charge your phone. No charging cables, no dead batteries, no fighting over the last power outlet at the airport. And most importantly, no mysterious drawer in your house filled with 47 different chargers that somehow fit absolutely nothing. Today, we're talking about the man who dreamed of making that world a reality. A man so brilliant that other scientists looked at him and said, "Ta! This guy is operating on a different software version." His name was Nikola Tesla, and one of his inventions had the potential to completely change human civilization. But what happened next sounds more like a Hollywood movie than real history. This is the story of Tesla's wireless world. The boy who saw lightning Nikola Tesla was born in 1856 in a small village called Smiljan, which is now part of Croatia. From a young age, Tesla was different, very different. While most children were busy playing games and getting dirty, Tesla spent his time imagining machines inside his head. He could visualize entire inventions without drawing a single blueprint. Imagine opening Photoshop in your brain and running a full 3D simulation. That was Tesla. His memory was so powerful that he could memorize books after reading them once. Meanwhile, the rest of us forget why we entered a room after 3 seconds. Tesla could remember entire books. I can't remember the password I created 5 minutes ago. And yes, I clicked forgot password again. The electricity war by the late 1800s. Electricity was becoming the future. But there was one huge problem. Nobody could agree on how electricity should be delivered. On one side stood Thomas Edison. On the other side stood Nikola Tesla. This battle became known as the War of Currents. Edison supported direct current, or DC. Tesla supported alternating current, or AC. Now here's a simple explanation. Imagine carrying buckets of water. DC is like carrying water a short distance. AC is like having a magical pipeline that can transport water across entire countries. Tesla's system was far more efficient. But Edison wasn't happy. In fact, Edison launched a campaign to convince people that Tesla's AC electricity was dangerous. He even publicly electrocuted animals to scare people. Pretty dark stuff. Meanwhile, Tesla stayed focused on science. Eventually, AC won. Today, almost every power grid on Earth uses Tesla's system. Imagine losing an argument so badly that 130 years later everyone still uses the other guy's idea. That's basically what happened. Tesla dreams bigger most inventors would have been satisfied after revolutionizing electricity. Tesla was not most inventors. His brain was constantly asking, okay, what impossible thing should we do next? One day, Tesla started thinking about something incredible. Electricity traveled through wires. But what if it didn't have to? What if power could travel through the air? Not a few feet. Not a few miles. Anywhere on Earth. This idea became Tesla's greatest dream. A global wireless energy network. Free energy transmission. Instant worldwide communication. Long before smartphones. Long before Wi-Fi. Long before the internet. Tesla imagined a connected planet. In the 1890s, that's like predicting TikTok while people are still riding horses. The Tesla Coil to make his dream possible. Tesla created one of his most famous inventions, the Tesla Coil. This device generated extremely high voltage electricity. When activated, giant purple lightning bolts erupted from the machine. People who witnessed it thought it looked like magic. And honestly, if you saw a man standing inside artificial lightning in 1895, you'd probably think he was a wizard too. Tesla loved demonstrations. He would stand near giant electrical discharges while calmly explaining science. The audience would stare in horror. Tesla would basically say, "Observe, perfectly safe." Meanwhile, everyone else was mentally writing their wills. The Tesla coil proved something important. Electricity could move through space without wires. That was the first step toward Tesla's ultimate vision. The Colorado Springs experiment in 1899, Tesla moved to Colorado Springs. There he built a gigantic laboratory. And when we say gigantic, we mean ridiculous. Tesla constructed enormous coils capable of generating millions of volts. During one experiment, lightning bolts over 100 feet long shot from his equipment. Residents nearby thought the end of the world had arrived. The electrical discharges were so powerful that they reportedly knocked out the local power station. Imagine being the utility company. Phone rings. Hello? Yeah. Some inventor accidentally created a lightning storm again. Again! Tesla believed he had discovered a way to send electrical energy through the Earth itself. His theory was that the planet could act like a giant conductor. If true, power could potentially be transmitted across vast distances. This was the foundation of his wireless world concept. The tower that would change everything in 1901, Tesla secured funding from wealthy banker J.P. Morgan. Tesla promised a revolutionary communication system. Morgan invested around $150,000. A huge amount of money at the time, Tesla immediately started building something extraordinary. The Wardenclyffe Tower, located on Long Island, New York. The tower stood nearly 200 feet tall. It looked like something from a science fiction movie. Tesla believed this structure would become the center of a worldwide wireless network. The tower would transmit messages, telephone calls, nuisance, and eventually electrical power to anyone, anywhere, without wires. Think about that. Tesla was imagining a global communication network decades before radio became common and nearly a century before the internet. Tesla's vision of the future Tesla described a future where people carried small wireless devices. Devices that could receive information instantly from around the world. Sound familiar? That's basically a smartphone. In 1926, Tesla predicted, "A man will be able to carry one in his vest pocket." This prediction came nearly 80 years before modern smartphones became widespread. He imagined live news, global communication, wireless data, portable technology. The guy was basically describing the future while everyone else was still excited about telegraphs. Tesla looked at 1900 and said, "One day people will carry powerful computers in their pockets." Humanity responded, "Great idea. We'll use them mostly to watch cat videos." But there was one issue, a very big issue: money. At first, J.P. Morgan supported Tesla. Then Morgan discovered Tesla's bigger plan: wireless electricity. Power available to everyone, potentially free. Morgan reportedly asked a crucial question. If anyone can access the power, where do we put the meter? In other words, how do we charge people? And if nobody pays, how does anyone profit? Once Morgan realized Tesla's true ambitions, funding dried up, construction slowed, bills piled up, investors became nervous. Without money, the dream began collapsing. The Fall of Wardenclyffe. By 1905, the project was struggling badly. Tesla desperately searched for new investors. But technology was moving quickly. Marconi was gaining success with radio communication. Many investors believed Tesla's vision was too ambitious, or too expensive, or impossible. Eventually, work stopped entirely. The tower never achieved its full purpose. Years later, the structure was demolished. One of the most ambitious technological projects in history ended in failure, at least officially, because while the tower failed, Tesla's ideas did not. Was Tesla right? This is where things get interesting. Even today, scientists debate aspects of Tesla's wireless energy concepts. Modern technology already uses wireless power. Smartphones charge wirelessly. Electric toothbrushes charge wirelessly. Medical implants receive wireless energy. Researchers continue exploring long-distance wireless transmission. However, transmitting massive amounts of power across entire continents remains extremely difficult. There are major efficiency challenges, engineering challenges, economic challenges. Tesla may have been partially right. He may have been partially wrong. But one thing is undeniable: he was decades ahead of his time. The lonely genius's years past, Tesla became increasingly isolated. He continued inventing, continued imagining, continued dreaming. But financial problems followed him. Many of his ideas never received support. Meanwhile, other inventors and companies built fortunes using technologies inspired by his work. Tesla spent his final years living in New York hotels, feeding pigeons, thinking about future inventions. The world had largely forgotten him, at least temporarily. The comeback after Tesla's death in 1943, something unexpected happened. People began realizing how important his contributions had been. Scientists studied his work. Historians revisited his achievements. Engineers acknowledged his influence. Today, Tesla is recognized as one of the greatest inventors in human history. His name appears in textbooks, movies, documentaries, and even one of the world's most famous electric car companies. Tesla went from overlooked genius to global icon. Not bad for a guy who spent years being ignored. So, did Nikola Tesla create an invention that could have changed the world? Maybe, maybe not. We'll never know exactly what Wardenclyffe Tower could have achieved if it had been completed. But we do know this. Tesla imagined a connected world before the world was ready. He dreamed of wireless communication before radio dominated society. He imagined portable devices before computers even existed. And he believed technology should improve life for everyone. Whether his wireless power system would have worked perfectly remains a mystery. But his willingness to think beyond the limits of his era changed history forever. Because every major breakthrough begins the same way. Someone looks at the impossible and refuses to accept it. Nikola Tesla was one of those people. A dreamer, a genius, a visionary, and perhaps the closest thing history has ever had to a real-life mad scientist. So next time your phone battery dies at 3%, take a moment to remember Nikola Tesla, a man who spent his life trying to create a world where charging cables wouldn't exist. Then, plug your phone in anyway. Bye. Because unfortunately, we're not living in Tesla's version of the timeline.